Hello, my name's Joanne James and welcome to another tutorial from the Crafty Owl. Today I'm going to show you how to make this anniversary card. It could also work as a wedding card featuring a ribbon weaving technique, and the ribbon that I'm using is one of the items that can be yours free during Stampin' Up's Sale A Bration promotion, and it is this ribbon here. It's the lovely 3/8 of an inch metallic ribbon. It comes in a pack of two, white with a silver fleck, which is what we're going to use today, but it also comes in a vanilla with a gold fleck. So the items that you'll need to make today's card are obviously the metallic ribbon. I've cut it up into 8 3-inch long pieces. So we need to put that to one side. Then we need an extra thick Whisper White card blank measuring 10.5 by 14.9 centimetres when folded, a 9 by 9 centimetre piece of silver foil cardstock, a 3 by 3 inch square of extra thick Whisper White, and then also an 8 by 5 by 8 by 5 centimetre square extra thick piece of Whisper White. You'll also need the Sweet and Sassy Framelits dies, the Falling For You stamp set, which is this one here, which I've used for my sentiment greeting or something similar. You'll need an Embossing Buddy Versamark heat tool and some silver embossing powder for your sentiment. You'll need a single Falling in Love embellishment, and then you'll need some adhesive. For this project we're going to use mini glue dots and some tear and tape adhesive, and then you'll need some additional tools which are your trimmer, a Stamp-A-Majig and your Big Shot. So let's go. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to actually die cut the heart shape out of the largest square, which is the square that measures 8.5 by 8.5 centimetres. So as I mentioned earlier, you need your Sweet and Sassy Framelits dies. So I'll show you exactly which one you need. So I use the almost the traditional heart shape, and it's this one. It's the third largest heart shape. Whoops. Can you just see that there? And you simply need to die cut that out of the middle of this piece of cardstock using your Big Shot. And once you've done that, you'll end up with a piece that looks just like this. So you've got your heart cut out. The heart you can put to one side. We don't need that for this project. You'll be able to use that on another project. And then you can also put this to one side. And the next thing we need to do is take the piece of cardstock that measures 3 by 3 inches. And this is the piece of cardstock that we're actually going to use for our ribbon weaving. So you need to bring in your trimmer. Oh, I've got a piece of paper stuck under mine. And we're going to actually cut our square into sort of strips, but we're going to leave them attached at the bottom, and then we're going to use that to almost thread our ribbon through. So you need to put your piece of 3 by 3 into the trimmer, and then actually move it along, and then we're going to make cut lines at 3/8 of an inch intervals. Okay, so starting at this one here, because that's the first one. So can you see it's the first one before the 1/2 inch mark. So we're going to put our cardstock up to the edge. We're going to bring our piece down, and then we're going to move our trimmer blade, which is the darker brown blade, and we're going to bring it down as far as 7 centimetres on our track. Can you just see that there? If I carefully lift that up, wait to focus, we're going to bring that down as far as 7 centimetres, because what that then does for us is, you can lift that back up and I'll show you with this first one, it cuts a piece, but it leaves it attached at the bottom. So then we need to go across at 3/8 of an inch intervals. So having done one at 3/8, the next one is at, so let's move our trimmer blade to the top. The next one is at 3/4 of an inch. So again, coming down to the 7. We're going to lift our arm, move across. The next one is at 1 1/8 of an inch. So again, remembering to move our blade to the top each time, and I'm going to come down again as far as the 7 mark. You don't have to worry about being too accurate there, but just to give us somewhere to stop. Then we're going to lift our arm, we're going to move across again, we're going to go to 1 1/2 inches, 1 7/8 inches, 2 1/4 inches, and then lastly 2 5/8 of an inch. Put our trimmer to one side, and what that gives us is a piece of paper that is cut into 8 equal strips, each measuring 3/8 of an inch, which is the same width as our ribbon, and then enables us, with it still being attached here, to easily weave. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to weave our panel, and all we need to do is take some glue dots, take a strip of your cut ribbon, pop a glue dot onto the back, then taking your piece of paper, you can work whichever way is easiest for you. I find it easier to have the attached piece at the bottom, and then you just need to, with the glue dot piece, stick that to the top of the first one, and then you're simply, just like when you're kind of a child and you do kind of lacing or ribbon work, we're just going to, keeping our ribbon flat, we're going to move it in and out of our layers like this, keeping it nice and flat so that it goes up and over, and then you'll see, so that first one ends on the other side, and all you need to do is just flip it over, take your glue dots, and on that loose end just pop a glue dot on the end there, oops, and then just stick that to the back of your piece, and then making sure that your ribbon is nice and straight and as far down as you can go. You're now going to take the next piece of ribbon and you're going to do exactly the same, but you're going to do it in reverse. So this time, so if that's where we started, this time we're going to flip it over, okay, and we're going to start on the other side. So going down by the same distance of ribbon, using this piece of ribbon as our guide, and then we're going to go again under and over. So this is still the back side, but essentially gives us the same effect. So it's a little bit fiddly, but can you see we're getting alternating stripes of ribbon. So this time it finishes on the top of our card. Yeah, and again we're going to take our glue dots, we're just going to pop a glue dot on the end there, just pull that nice and tightly and stick that down. So you don't need to worry, obviously there's a little bit of fraying there, but you don't need to worry about that because that won't be visible by the time we finish our card. So you just need to complete the whole piece, which I'll just show you really quickly now how I did that, following the same plan. So, and there's your finished ribbon weaved piece of cardstock, and now that's ready to make into your card. So if we bring back in our other elements, the next thing you need to do is take your card base. You need to stick your piece of foil to it. I actually came in and allowed a border of 1/2 centimetre from the top, from the crease and from the edge. So you need to stick that on there like so. In this instance we can actually use tear and tape, just because that's the glue that we're using for the rest of our card, and it will just make it really quick and easy. And then before I actually constructed my other layers, I actually placed my sentiment using this piece of foil as the guide. Very, very easy and straightforward to do. So taking my stamp on my block here, very first thing we need to do is take our embossing buddy and make sure that we rub down our cardstock so we don't get any stray heat embossing. Stray powder when we heat emboss. Take our Versamark, and because this stamp is a clear rubber stamp, I am going to use my Stamp-A-Majig. So I've previously already stamped it in a colour on my Stamp-A-Majig so I can see where I'm going. Get my piece of cardstock nice and straight, look at where I want to position my sentiment, and I decided to align mine kind of to the right hand side of my silver foil square. Put my Stamp-A-Majig in place, remove my imaging sheet, take my Versamarked stamp, I'm just going to pop it in place, go down, remove the arm, and then I can take my silver embossing powder and I can actually heat emboss that. So if I just show you really quickly. There you go, there's my sentiment ready for embossing. So I'm just going to heat emboss this now. I'll accelerate through it so that you don't have to listen to the noise. There you go, and that's my sentiment then embossed on. Now that we've done that part, we can construct the rest of our card, and it really is very, very straightforward. So you need to take some of your tear and tape, and I found it easier to actually adhere this piece to my weaved or woven image first and then adhere it to the card. So all I did was I put some tape on the back of my heart, and then I positioned my taped heart over my woven piece of cardstock. And because this is split into 8 strips, you know that your halfway point is kind of 4 strips in, so you can use it to guide you to know that the midpoint of your heart is in the middle of your card. You've got a little bit of wiggle room, but in essence that's now central in my heart shape. See, that's what it looks like from the back. It's not necessarily perfectly straight, but it's perfectly fine. This piece is smaller obviously than the front, so there's plenty of room. And then all I did to that was took my tear and tape again, put some additional strips top and bottom, and then stuck this piece to my silver foil. So as you can see, I wasn't too precise again about where I put this. It kind of holds the ends of your ribbon down too, and the more important thing when you flip it over is that obviously you've got it the right way up and that you centre it on your piece of cardstock. But tear and tape is the perfect adhesive for this because it's dry, and again, once you've torn it, you can fold the ends in a little bit, and it will hold your ribbon section securely. And so if you just centre that onto your piece of silver cardstock, there should be a border of 1/2 centimetre all the way round. Stick it on like so. The woven section gives a little bit of dimension and depth to it. You can just see there. Whoops, can just see there. So you don't really need to use anything like dimensionals, but equally it's not too deep to go into the post. And then the last thing, I just added one of these lovely falling in love embellishments, because I thought it just added a little something to my card. So I just used a glue dot onto the back and then positioned it just there on my heart, and then that's my finished card. And just like my original one, that's the finished piece. I also stamped inside this one with a sentiment again from that same stamp set, Falling for You, which has got some lovely sentiments for anniversaries and bridal. This card would work in lots of different colour combinations. Obviously you could use lots of different shapes as well for your negative space, but I hope you like that project, and come back soon for another tutorial from the Crafty Owl. Thank you.